Samson's story is a story of power, of incredible strength given by God, of deception and betrayal by those he loved, of human weakness and pride, and of God's grace working even through broken people. This is the story of Samson. At a time when Israel had turned away from God, the Philistines ruled over them. They were strong and cruel, and their control stretched across the land. The people of Israel lived under constant fear. They were taxed, pushed around, and forced to obey. Life was hard. Every day was a struggle. Every night was filled with worry. Families whispered in secret, wondering if there would ever be peace again. The people of Israel were suffering. Some had lost their homes. Others had lost their farms. Children went hungry. Parents worked long hours just to keep their families alive. The towns were quiet with fear, yet at the same time, alive with the murmurs of hope. Even though their hearts had drifted from God, even though they had turned away from Him, they could not forget the God of their ancestors. They remembered the stories. They remembered the miracles. And in the quiet of their hearts, they prayed, sometimes in secret, sometimes aloud. Once again, Israel cried out for help. Their cries were not loud armies or marching soldiers. They were small, whispered prayers. They were sighs in the night, tears in the fields. But God heard them. He always heard them. And He chose a way to answer that was different from what they expected. He did not raise up a great army of men, nor did He send mighty generals. Instead, He chose one person, one child, one life that would carry the power of God's plan. In a small town called Zorah, there lived a man named Manoah and his wife. They were simple people, humble and hardworking. They tilled the soil, cared for their animals, and lived quiet, ordinary lives. But there was a sadness in their home. They had no children. They had prayed, they had hoped, they had wished for a child for many years. Every day, they felt the weight of that emptiness. Their home felt quiet, too quiet. Their hearts longed for the laughter of a child, for the small joys that only a son or daughter could bring. One day, everything changed. Something extraordinary happened. An angel of the Lord appeared to Manoah's wife. She was startled. Her heart raced. Fear and awe filled her at the same time. The angel spoke words that were impossible to believe, words that would change her life forever. The angel told her she would give birth to a son unlike any other, chosen for a sacred purpose, a child who would be set apart for God from the very beginning of his life. This child would be a Nazirite. His life would be dedicated to God. Certain rules would govern him from birth. He must never drink wine. He must never touch anything that had died. And no razor could ever touch his head. For in his hair, uncut and sacred, would lie the sign of his devotion and the secret of the strength that God would give him. His strength would not be ordinary. It would not come from muscles alone. It would not come from training or skill. His strength would come from God. It would be a strength to overcome enemies, to protect His people, and to fulfill the mission God had given him. But even with this strength, his path would not be easy. Challenges, temptations, and trials would come. The child's name would be Samson. A simple name, yet the life it represented was far from simple. As Samson grew, everyone who saw him could tell he was different. Even as a young boy, he was strong beyond his years. His hands were stronger than most men's. His courage was remarkable. He carried himself with a quiet confidence, a sense that he was meant for more than ordinary life. One day, as a young boy, Samson was walking alone in the fields. Suddenly, a lion appeared. Its roar thundered through the valley. Most men would have run in fear, but not Samson. He did not hesitate. He did not flee. He faced the lion with calm determination. With his bare hands, he seized the beast. Muscles straining, yet controlled, he tore the lion apart. People who would have witnessed it might have thought it impossible. But it happened. It was clear, God's power was upon him. Even as he grew, people could see that Samson's strength was extraordinary. Animals, strong and fierce, could not challenge him. Nothing in his environment could hold him back. Yet, he was still human. He had a heart, feelings, desires, and weaknesses. The strength in his hands was not the only thing that mattered. His heart and choices would shape the path of his life. Samson's parents watched him with a mixture of awe and worry. They knew he was chosen for a special purpose, but they also knew that life would not be simple for him. Power comes with responsibility. Strength comes with danger. And a life set apart for God would always be tested. As Samson walked through the hills and valleys near Zorah, he would often encounter challenges. Sometimes it was wild animals. Sometimes it was work too heavy for a boy of his age. Sometimes it was the murmurs of people who did not understand him. Yet, in each challenge, Samson's strength grew, and with it, his character was formed. He learned courage. He learned patience. And even in moments when he felt fear or doubt, the presence of God rested upon him. He was a paradox, human and fragile in heart, yet strong and unstoppable in the deeds God would allow him to do. From a young age, Samson's story was being written. It was a story of hope for a nation, a story of power and responsibility, and a story that would test every part of him. Every lion he faced, every challenge he overcame, prepared him for the greater trials to come. Even with all his strength, Samson had a weakness. His heart could be swayed. His desires could lead him into trouble. And the world he lived in was filled with people who would try to trick him, challenge him, or take advantage of his power. His journey had begun, but the full story of his life, the triumphs and the failures, had not yet unfolded. God's plan for Samson was clear, even if Samson did not yet understand it. He would grow into a man who could deliver his people. He would stand against the Philistines. He would be tested, betrayed, and challenged. But he would also learn lessons about strength, love, and reliance on God. The lion in the fields, the strength that came effortlessly, and the miraculous nature of his birth were only the beginning. Samson's life would teach Israel that true strength is not in muscle alone, but in the presence of God and the courage to follow him, even when life is difficult. And so, from that quiet town in Zorah, from a home that had once been empty, a story began. A story that would be remembered for generations. The story of Samson. A man chosen by God, a man of extraordinary strength, yet human in heart. A man whose journey would challenge everything he knew and everything the world expected of him. Samson grew into a strong man. His body was powerful, his muscles were well built, and even from a distance, people could sense his strength. Everywhere he went, men whispered about him. They feared him. They respected him. He carried himself with confidence, but confidence was not always wisdom. Often, he followed his desires, acting on what he wanted rather than what was right. This would shape the beginning of a story of choices and consequences. One day, while walking through the town of Timnah, Samson saw a woman. She was a Philistine, one of Israel's enemies. And yet, something about her drew him. His heart was captivated. Even though the Philistines had oppressed Israel for years, even though their people were in pain because of them, Samson's eyes were fixed on her. He wanted her, not because it was wise, but because his heart desired it. He went to his parents and told them he wanted to marry her. They were concerned. They warned him. They reminded him of the dangers, the history, and the fact that this woman was from a people who hated Israel. But Samson would not listen. He insisted. His mind was made up, and his desire overpowered the advice of those who loved him most. The wedding feast came. It was a time of celebration, of music and food, of laughter and joy. But Samson's feast was not ordinary. At the heart of it, he challenged the Philistines with a riddle. The riddle was clever, born from the story of the lion he had killed years before. It was meant to be a game, a puzzle for the guests. Yet, the Philistines were angered and frustrated. They could not solve it. They wanted the answer, and they wanted it at any cost. Unable to get it themselves, they turned to Samson's bride. They threatened her, using fear to manipulate her. She pleaded with Samson, she begged him, and in the end, he gave in. He told her the answer. And with that, the riddle was solved, but at a cost. Samson had been betrayed by someone he trusted. When he discovered what had happened, anger surged through him. It was a fiery, consuming rage. His muscles tensed, His eyes blazed, and the Spirit of God rushed upon him. With that divine strength, he struck down 30 Philistine men. The city spoke of his power. The Philistines feared him more than ever. He had acted decisively, but it was a victory of anger, not of purpose. Time passed, and Samson's heart remained unsettled. He returned to Timnah, hoping for some resolution. But he found that his wife had been given to another man. His anger flared again, deeper and more personal than before. It was a wound of pride and betrayal. And so, Samson decided to act once more. He captured 100 foxes. He tied torches to their tails, and he released them into the Philistine fields. The dry fields caught fire, and the crops, the grain, the olive trees, and the vineyards were destroyed. The smoke rose high, visible for miles. The people were terrified. Samson had acted with cunning, with strength, with unstoppable power. He had made his enemies suffer for what they had done. It was a display of raw strength and fury. Samson was powerful. He was unstoppable. And yet, something was missing. He was not leading Israel. He was not freeing his people. He was fighting for himself, for his pride, for his anger, for the wrongs he had suffered personally. The victories he achieved were real, the destruction he caused undeniable, but the purpose of his life, the deliverance of Israel, was still not fully realized. Even with all his strength, Samson was human. His choices, his desires, and his emotions often guided him more than God's wisdom. The Philistines were terrified, yes, but Israel had not yet been saved. And in this, the story of Samson shows the paradox of human strength, that power alone, without wisdom, without guidance, without purpose, can lead to chaos, even when it is backed by divine favor. Samson continued to grow in strength. His fame spread. Stories of his feats traveled from town to town, inspiring awe and fear. And yet, he remained a man of contradictions. Mighty in body, but often led by desire. A hero in the making, yet still learning the cost of personal pride. Each act, each victory, each fiery revenge was a step along the path, shaping him for the greater challenges and the greater story that lay ahead. Later in Samson's life, he fell in love again. Time had passed. Battles had been fought. Enemies had been defeated. Yet Samson's heart still longed for connection. Strength had made him famous, but it had also made him lonely. And in that loneliness, he met a woman named Delilah. Delilah lived in the valley of Sork. She was intelligent, charming, and persuasive. To Samson, she felt different. With her, he felt understood. He felt seen, not as a warrior or a legend, but as a man. He trusted her. He opened his heart to her. And for a time, Samson believed he had found peace. But Delilah was not alone in her intentions. The Philistine leaders were watching. They knew Samson could not be defeated by force. They had tried that before, and it had failed every time. So they chose a different weapon. They went to Delilah and offered her a great amount of money. Silver beyond imagination. Their request was simple and deadly. They wanted one thing, the secret of Samson's strength. Delilah listened. She did not refuse. She did not argue. She simply agreed to find out. Slowly and carefully, she began to ask Samson questions. Not harsh questions, gentle ones. Questions wrapped in affection and curiosity. Again and again, she asked him where his strength came from. Each time, Samson lied. At first, he told her that if he were tied with fresh ropes, his strength would leave him. Delilah tested his words while he slept. When he woke and the Philistines rushed in, Samson broke the ropes as if they were nothing. The men fled in fear. Still, Delilah did not stop. She tried again. This time, Samson told her that new cords would weaken him. Once more, she bound him. Once more, the Philistines attacked. And once more, Samson snapped the cords with ease, standing tall and undefeated. Delilah's questions continued. Her tone changed. Her patience wore thin. She accused him of lying to her. She accused him of playing games. And still, Samson refused to tell her the truth. When she tried weaving his hair into a loom, he tore it apart, pulling the structure from the ground itself. His strength remained. His secret remained hidden. But Delilah's words grew sharper. She did not attack his power. She attacked his heart. She told him he did not love her. She told him that if he truly cared, he would trust her. Day after day, night after night, her voice filled his ears. Her words were constant, gentle at first, then heavy, then unbearable. Slowly, her words wore him down. Samson had defeated armies. He had broken weapons. He had faced beasts and enemies without fear. But this was different. This was not a battle of strength. This was a battle of the heart. And Samson was growing tired. His defenses weakened. His resolve began to fade. The man who could not be stopped by force was now being undone by emotion. The secret he had guarded all his life was beginning to feel heavy. The vow that had set him apart now felt distant. And without realizing it, Samson was standing on the edge of his greatest mistake. One night, Samson was exhausted. His body was tired. His mind was worn down. The constant questions, the accusations, the pressure, and the emotional weight had drained him. He rested his head on Delilah's lap, feeling safe, believing he was finally understood. In that moment, his guard was gone. For the first time, Samson told her the truth. He told her that his strength did not come from himself. It did not come from his body. It did not come from training or courage. His strength came from God. He told her that he had been set apart from birth. He explained that no razor had ever touched his head. His hair was part of a vow made to God. And if his hair were shaved, he said, his strength would leave him. He would become weak, just like any other man. Delilah listened carefully. She did not interrupt him. She did not question him. She knew in her heart that this time, he was telling the truth. The secret was no longer hidden. Samson had given away everything. As Samson fell into a deep sleep, Delilah quietly moved away. Her heart was settled. Her decision was made. She called for the Philistines. They were waiting nearby, ready. A man entered the room silently. Slowly, carefully, a razor was brought close to Samson's head. Lock by lock, his hair was shaved away. The room was quiet. Samson slept on, unaware. The vow that had marked his life was being broken. The sign of his dedication was gone. And with it, the presence that had empowered him all his life was leaving him. Suddenly, Delilah cried out, "Samson, the Philistines are upon you." Samson woke up and rose to his feet, just as he had done many times before. His body reacted out of habit. He expected the strength to surge. He expected the power to return. He believed he would break free as he always had. But nothing happened. His muscles failed him. His strength was gone. He did not know it, but God's presence had left him. For the first time in his life, Samson was truly powerless. The Philistines rushed in. This time, they did not fear him. They seized him easily. They overpowered him. They blinded him, taking away his sight. They bound him with heavy chains and led him away in shame. Samson, once feared by nations, was now helpless. The man who had torn lions apart could not break free. The judge of Israel had become a prisoner. His strength was gone. His vision was gone. His freedom was gone. And in the darkness, Samson was left with nothing but silence, regret, and the weight of the choices that had brought him there. Time passed. Samson's hair slowly began to grow again. One day, during a great celebration in the temple of their god Dagon, the Philistines brought Samson out to mock him. Thousands gathered to laugh at the fallen strongman. Blind and weak, Samson was led between two large pillars holding up the building. Quietly, Samson prayed, "God, please remember me. Give me strength one last time." He placed his hands on the pillars and pushed with everything he had. The building began to shake. The pillars collapsed. The temple fell. Samson died along with the Philistines, destroying more enemies in his death than he had during his life. Later, his family came and buried him. Samson judged Israel for 20 years. His story is not about perfect faith. It is about human weakness, consequences, and a God who still works through broken people. True strength does not come from muscle. It comes from God.
Samson judged Israel for 20 years. His story is not about perfect strength. It is about human weakness, choices, and consequences. It is about God's grace working through broken people. True strength does not come from muscle. It comes from God. If you enjoyed this story and want the channel to continue bringing you more stories like this, please comment, like, and subscribe. Your support helps us share these stories with more people.